Hey guys, I'm back with a new episode called What If Naruto Was the Reincarnation of Indra, Ashura and Hagoromo Part 4. Like and subscribe, it motivates me to keep doing these. Thanks. We left off with Hayate beginning the match between Kiba and Naruto. I'm going to take you down, Naruto. Kiba spoke aloud with a confident grin. Akamaru barked, agreeing with his master's words. Naruto made no sign that he heard Kiba's words. Hey, did you hear me? Again Naruto did not respond. I'm talking to you, bastard. Kiba yelled out with a bit of anger at being ignored. Will you attack me already and stop annoying me? Naruto finally spoke. Kiba grinned, let's do this, Akamaru. He said to his dog partner. Akamaru barked in acknowledgement of Kiba's words. Getsuga, Kiba yelled as he took the form of a spinning vortex. The spinning vortex sped at Naruto at fast speeds. Naruto just stood at his position with his hands still crossed at his chest. He waited for Kiba's attack to reach him. Kurenai looked at Naruto. What is he thinking standing there like that? If he gets hit the match will be over, she thought to herself, wondering why Naruto was not even trying to dodge Kiba's attack. She knew Kiba's offensive attack was powerful and could cause a lot of damage if it hit. It was almost impossible to block. The only way she had been able to escape the attack was if she dodged. She had never attempted to block the attack. The spinning vortex reached Naruto, and when it looked like it was about to hit him, it missed. Kiba hit the ground and continued to spin furiously as it dug a hole on solid ground. The Getsuga came out again from the ground and charged at Naruto. It missed him again. The same sequence continued for several times. None of the attempts hit Naruto. Several holes could be seen at the ground. What shocked many who were watching was that Naruto was still in the same position he was in. His hands still crossed on his chest while he was surrounded by many holes. Kiba stopped his attack and returned to normal. His fruitless attacks seemed to have taken a lot of chakra from him because his breathing was slightly labored. Stay still, you bastard, so that I can hit you. He yelled in frustration. He tried the Getsuga again, but still the results were the same. Naruto looked at the genin. Is that all you can do? He said, how disappointing. His hands dropped from his chest and he blurred out of sight. He appeared in front of Kiba and kicked the genin on his waist, sending him crashing towards the wall. Akamaru had jumped up and did not fly away with Kiba. Cracks appeared on the wall where Kiba had hit. Akamaru barked as he charged at Naruto, looking to bite him. Naruto caught the small puppy by its hand. He hit its head and knocked it out cold. Get your hands off Akamaru. Kiba yelled while charging at Naruto blindly. Naruto turned around to face the genin. Kiba attempted to punch Naruto on the face. But Naruto caught his hand and squeezed it. Ah, Kiba cried out as Naruto was crushing his hand. Naruto kneed Kiba on his gut. He let go of Kiba's hand and punched with his left hand. His right hand followed with another powerful punch to the temple that sent Kiba flying away from him. Naruto blurred away and caught Kiba's leg while he was still flying. He slammed the genin to the ground, creating debris. Naruto did not wait for the debris to clear. He gripped Kiba's bleeding face and lifted the genin up. He imparted the genin with a powerful punch at his gut. Kiba coughed out some blood because of the punch. Naruto threw Kiba into the air. When Kiba was coming down towards him, he spun around and kicked Kiba's body. The kick sent Kiba crashing towards the wall. Kiba's body partly destroyed the wall. His bleeding body lay broken on the ground. He had lost consciousness. How brutal, some of the genins thought while watching the fight. The only person who smiled was Subaku no Gaara. Naruto stood still waiting for Hayate to call the match. Hayate stepped forward. Kiba is unable to fight, winner Uzumaki Naruto. He announced. Naruto walked away as the medics rushed at Kiba to take him away to heal him. When he arrived at the balcony, he found Yuhi Kurenai waiting for him. Kurenai stared at Naruto with a bit of anger in her eyes. She was angry that Naruto had hit her student roughly. She believed he could have ended the match in a more harmless way. Naruto tried to walk past her, but she stood firmly in his way. Naruto gave a small huff in annoyance. He blurred out of her sight and appeared behind her in shocking speed. Kurenai quickly turned around to see Naruto standing behind her. She stood in shock on how fast he moved. It was like one moment he was there and the next he was gone. Kakashi and some other jonin, along with some people in the crowd, was shocked at how fast he moved. He moved really fast, even to an experienced jonin eyes. Naruto went to the back row and sat alone, while in the stance it was a couple of females staring at the blonde. One being Temari and the other being Ino and Hinata. Temari was just staring at the blonde. She thought he was really cute, but was feeling a little jealous seeing the other two girls with their eyes on him as well. Naruto, who felt Temari watching, turned her way and gave a small wink, make the girl Blush and turn away in embarrassment. Hayate coughed to get everyone's attention. The screen showed the next contestants. Hayate looked at the screen. Will Sabaku no Gaara and Tsuchi-kin step forward to the arena please? He called out. Gaara entered the arena via sand sunshine, while Kin walked down the arena. Kin looked at Gaara's face. He had something that resembled a smile. His face scared her. He had eyes that were cold and viewed her life as nothing more than another life to be devoured. She could feel the aura of bloodlust radiating from the sand genin. She feared for her life looking at the genin. Are both fighters ready? Hayate called out. Both contestants nodded. Begin. Gaara grinned maliciously as he stared at Kin. Kin shuddered because of the grin. She looked at Hayate. Proctor, I forfeit. She said, taking a step away from Gaara. Hayate nodded, but before he could announce Gaara as the winner, the genin was already attacking Kin with his sand. He moved quickly and took the girl out of harm's way. Sabaku no Gaara, your opponent forfeited the match, why do you continue to attack her? Gaara did not respond. Hayate sighed, Tsuchi-kin has forfeited the match winner Sabaku no Gaara. Gaara shunshined away from the arena looking disappointed that he did not get to kill his opponent. Kin felt relieved that she had quit the match. The sand would have surely crushed her. Now she just had to deal with her teammates who would not be pleased that she gave up the match without even fighting first. Hayate looked at the screen again. Will Rock Lee and Kanuta Dosu step forward please? He called out. Lee jumped up with a huge smile on his face. Guy-sensei, it's finally my turn to show my flame of youth. He cried out. Guy smiled at his student. Yash, go make me proud Lee. Show everyone how your flames burn brightly. Guy cried with the same enthusiastic as his student. Yes, Guy-sensei. Lee said as he jumped into the arena. He was excited about finally getting his chance to fight. His sensei would be watching him, and he was not going to disappoint his sensei. He was going to show his youthful flames that burned brightly inside of him. Kanuta Dosu stepped in the ring. He had bandages covering most of his face, leaving only his left eye uncovered. He wore a large poncho with long sleeves, a snake-patterned scarf, a straw raincoat protruding from the back of his scarf, and a large amplifier on his right arm. The amplifier was called the Melody Arm. Are both fighters ready? Hayate asked as he looked at the genins. He earned a nod from both genins. Begin. He yelled as he jumped away from the arena. Lee took a taijutsu stance. His face had a serious expression. He charged at Dosu and attempted to kick the genin at his upper body. Dosu brought out his right arm to block the kick. Lee's foot connected with the Melody Arm. Lee retrieved his leg and brought out his right, attempted to kick the genin again. Dosu raised his left arm to block Lee's kick. The power behind the kick pushed him back a bit. Lee smiled a bit before taking a stance again. He waited for his opponent to make a move. Dosu dashed at Lee and attempted to hit him with the Melody Arm on his face, but Lee jumped back to avoid being hit. He moved forward to Lee and swung his left arm attempting to punch the genin. Lee blocked the attempt and attempted to kick Dosu. Dosu blocked the attempt with his right arm. Lee jumped back, making some distance with his opponent. Despite having only started, the fight was certainly interesting. With the way the genins were exchanging attacks, it was something worth watching other than some one-sided fights they had witnessed. The two continued to exchange blows. Dosu had been unable to land a hit on Lee as Lee was faster than him. Lee had managed to land a few hits, but none had done much damage to the genin. Dosu was getting frustrated because of his lack of penetration through Lee's defense. He was also panting slightly and had a couple of bruises while Lee looked fine. Lee dashed at Dosu and swung his hand, attempted to punch the genin. Dosu blocked the attack. He was unable to block the kick that followed. He was sent flying, but he quickly recovered by flipping in mid-air and landed on the ground. Just when he landed, he rushed at Lee at his full speed. Lee also rushed at the genin. They clashed in the middle. Dosu swung his Melody Arm at Lee's temple, but Lee did enough to block the attack before it could hit him. But the arm was close to his head. Dosu smirked under his bandages as his Melody Arm released sound waves. The sound waves infected Lee and caused his vision to become blurry. He could not see properly. Dosu tried punching Lee on the gut, but Lee sensed the attack and jumped back. His vision was still blurry. What is happening? He asked, being confused as to why his vision had suddenly become blurry. The only answer he got was a rough chuckle from Dosu. Dosu moved closer to Lee and kicked him on his chest, sending him flying away. Lee flipped in mid-air and landed on the ground gracefully. The moment he landed, Dosu was in front of him. Dosu's right arm crashed into his gut. He spun around and kicked Lee to his temple. Lee hit the wall but recovered quickly. He got up and coughed a bit of blood. His vision was returning to him. He looked at Dosu's right. It was doing something to him. It looked like kind of gauntlet to him. It was very strange looking at it carefully as he had never seen something of its kind before. He just had to avoid it. "Don't give up, Lee." Guy yelled out to his student. Lee looked at his sensei with a smile. Despite looking like he was losing, his sensei was cheering for him. He smiled at his sensei and gave him a thumbs up. "Hi Guy sensei. Release your weights and show them your youthful flames, Lee." Guy cried out again. He was not about to let his student lose when he had the power to win his match. Lee nodded and removed the weights on both his legs. The weights landed on the ground and created a large dent on the floor. The ground shook when the weights hit. It shocked many. What the hell, some thought upon seeing how heavy the weights were. Lee got into a stance and looked at his opponent. "You have been a worthy opponent, but I must end this," he said seriously. Dosu was about to retort when Lee blurred out of sight. He appeared in front of Dosu. Dosu attempted to punch Lee in the face. But Lee blurred out of his sight again. Lee appeared behind Dosu and kicked the genin with a powerful on his back. Dosu was sent crashing towards the wall. Lee waited for Dosu to recover. He did not wait for too long as Dosu came charging at him. Dosu swung his right hand, attempted to disrupt Lee's hearing with his melody arm. Lee sidestepped the attack and punched Dosu to the gut. He jumped up and slammed both his hands on Dosu's head, compelling the genin down the floor. Lee waited for Dosu to get up. When he did, he kicked him on the chin, sending him up in the air. He did this after opening the first of the 8 chakra gates. He used Shadow of the Dancing Leaf and appeared behind Dosu while still in air. He let loose of the bandages on his arms and wrapped them around Dosu, restraining him. As they began to fall down the ground, head facing the ground, they rotated at a ferocious speed. Lee pile drive Dosu to the ground head first. Dosu lay on the dent he created on the floor unconscious. Lee was on one knee breathing heavily beside Dosu. His body was bruised but not heavily. Pt4 stepped forward. "Kanuta, Dosu is unable to continue, winner rock Lee," he announced. Lee grinned brightly and slowly made his way back to the balcony. "You did it, Lee. I'm so proud to be your sensei." Guy cried out. "Guy sensei. Lee. Guy sensei." Lee, Guy cried as he burst into tears and rushed to hug his student with much affection. Lee was also in tears while hugging his sensei. Everyone looked disturbed by the view. No one looked twice at the two hugging man. It was not every day that you saw two men hugging each other with that much affection. It was greatly disturbing to see. Pt4 saved everyone by announcing the next match. "Will Hyuga Hinata and Hyuga Niji come down, please?" Hinata shyly made her way down the arena. She was not sure if she could fight against her cousin and win. She eyed Naruto and flustered because he was staring at her. She quickly looked away from him while poking her fingers. Naruto was watching her. She would do her best. Pt4 looked between the two contestants. "Are both fighters ready?" He earned nods from both Hyugas. "Begin," he yelled out. Hinata seemed to be hesitant to take a stance. She did not look like somebody who was ready for a fight. Niji seemed prepared for anything. He had an impassive expression that most of the Hyugas seemed to wear. Niji stared at Hinata coldly. With look he had given the girl, one could not tell that she was his cousin. "Forfeit the match, Hinata-sama, you cannot defeat me," he said coldly. Hinata could not defeat him. They had sparred a few times and she had never come close to defeating him. He had seen her fight several times. With her skills she could not defeat him. Hinata looked down while poking her fingers. "You are not fit to be a shinobi because you lack self-confidence. Someone with no self-confidence is fated to lose." Hinata was a bit downed by Niji's cold words. She wanted to fight him and prove that she could compete to him and also save him from the darkness that was consuming him. She took a stance and had a look of a dedicated kunoichi. Niji shook his head. "You don't listen. I will prove to you that you are a loser and will always be a loser," he said as he took a stance. Byakugan, both Hyugas yelled as veins bulged around their eyes. Both ran towards each other with their Taijutsu active. They engaged in their clan's famed Taijutsu style, the Gentile Fist. The battle went on for a few minutes as the two Hyugas traded blows. Their Taijutsu style specialized on attacking the chakra networks inside of a person. For damage to be done, they had to use chakra externally in a form of lacing it around their hands. To block the attack, one had to block with a chakra-laced hand to avoid taking damage. Should it hit, one faced the risk of getting their chakra paths closed forcefully. When chakra points were closed at a certain part of the body, that part becomes immobile. Niji suddenly kicked Hinata on her chest, sending her away from him. Hinata was bruised and panting, but had nonetheless taken less damage. Niji looked fine. He was not even slightly winded. One could tell that he was used to fight at such level while Hinata was not. Niji ran at Hinata and brought out his right hand, trying to connect it with Hinata's chest. Hinata deflected the attack with her own attack and jumped back, creating a breathing space. Niji charged at her again and exchanged palm attacks with Hinata. Hinata blocked all his attempts, but she did so with difficulty. Niji increased his speed a bit, catching Hinata off guard by his increase of speed. His chakra-laced palm landed in the middle of Hinata's chest. Hinata coughed blood before going down to her knees. Niji looked at her. "I told you that you are a loser and would remain as such. Regardless of how many times you fight to change that, it will never change, you will always be a loser. Fate cannot be changed," he said and turned away from her. "Proctor, call the match, she won't be able to continue," Niji said, walking away. Hayate looked at Hinata. The blow to the heart should have ended the match. Hinata did not look like she could continue with the match. Winner Hayu. He stopped when he saw Hinata was standing up, albeit shaking. Hinata looked at Niji, who had stopped walking away after hearing Hayate stop, announcing him as the winner. It is true that I lack self-confidence. I don't believe that people cannot change. I have seen many people see change. Why, you are also wrong about something, Niji. It is not I that I am trying to change. What I want to change is you. You have been suffering most of your life and I want to change that," Hinata said. Niji said nothing for a moment before his eyes burned with hidden fury. He ran towards Hinata, looking to end her life with one last attack at her chest. The Jonins knew that should Niji hit Hinata, it would end her life. Hayate, Guy and Kurenai rushed at the arena to try and stop Niji from killing his cousin. Niji looked at the Jonins and scoffed. "Is this another special treatment for the Hyuga main branch?" he said. All the Jonins holding let go of him and allowed him to retreat back to the balcony. Hinata collapsed down to the ground, alarming Kurenai to rush over to her. She carried the girl to the medics so that she could get help before her life became in danger. "Winner, Hyuga Niji," Hayate announced. Naruto was calm on the outside, but inside he was furious. He sat down Indian style and closed his eyes. He held a single hand seal and thought, sleep. To calm his nerves. The last thing he heard was Nara Shikamaru vs Akamichi Choji. His mind rested and as he fell asleep. Sleep was a kind of medical jutsu that Indra had taught him. It worked like any sleeping pill, but with the jutsu he slept immediately upon the jutsu being cast. He used the chakra inside his body to influence his mind to sleep. Minutes later, Naruto was woken up by Kakashi. He had only slept for a few minutes. It was enough to pass the time. "The preliminaries are over," Kakashi said. "There are others already down there," Kakashi said, pointing at the gathered genin. Naruto nodded and went to the other genins. Sandaime was making one of his speeches. "Time allows for you to know yourself better and your enemy. During this time you will be able to study your opponent's abilities. In this month you will have the chance to improve yourselves," the Sandaime said while eyeing Naruto. "Now, let us decide who you will face at the finals. Take a piece of paper from the box that Anko-san is holding," he said, pointing at Anko. The genins that had made it to the finals did as told. Naruto was not surprised to see that Shikamaru had won his match against Choji. Shikamaru was smart enough to counter anyone. Each piece of paper they too had a number written on it. They presented their numbers and were drawn of who would face who. Match 1. Uzumaki Naruto vs Hyuga Niji. Match 2. Subaku no Gaara vs Rock Lee. Match 3. Subaku no Kankuro vs Uchiha Sasuke. Match 4. Nara Shikamaru vs Subaku no Tamari. Are there any questions? The Sandaime asked. Since this is a tournament, does it mean that the winner of the tournament will be the only one who becomes Chunin? Shikamaru asked. Different judges judge in the tournament. If someone is judged to possess skills and mentality of the Chunin, he or she will be promoted to Chunin. It does not matter if they win or lose their matches. There is also a chance that none of you become Chunin, but there is also a chance that you can all become Chunin. It depends if whether you are fit to become a Chunin or not. The Sandaime said, are there any more questions? He waited for the genins to give their answer. Seeing that there were no more questions, he spoke again. Good, you are all dismissed. One by one the genins left the tower. Naruto was stopped by Kakashi from leaving the tower for a moment. Meet me at training ground tomorrow morning, Kakashi said and disappeared from Naruto's view. Alright guys, that's all for part 4. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks.